What's up, everybody? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the pod. We'll have a little fun here. This week, I'm here with Paul, and Scott is back off of fresh vacation. He was in the Bahamas last weekend.
You know,
Scott,
I've been trying to sign in all this time, and I'll have to throw it out there. I've been trying to click this link to get let in, but I never was let in all this time. All this time, I've been waiting, and you finally
Welcome
let me
back.
in.
I didn't get the ding. There's usually a ding involved.
It's that shoddy Bahamas service.
I don't know. I would check that dinger. Maybe spotty. You got to check who that dinger is.
Scott, Paul, and I got a chance to catch up last week, but how were your holidays? How was your break?
My break was quite good. It happened to be very quick. It was just a month of, all right, I need to get this gift and that gift, and is this coming in on time? And then all of a sudden, it's gone.
Yeah.
It happened already. Now it's like, okay, now we're back into the swing of things, into the third week of January, and then we're back into February.
Yeah, I just cleared out my Christmas tree this past weekend. Finally, it was overdue.
I did my outside decorations, but the tree's still up.
Oh my God! So what's the tree looking like these days?
Oh, we keep it fresh water. It's still pretty good. Pretty
All right.
decent right now.
All right, here's the thing. Did you check to see? I'm going to be very technical here. Did you check to see when your local municipality does their final pickup
Oh,
of Christmas trees?
end of the month. We have until the end of the month.
Okay.
But I chop it up and we use it as firewood anyway.
Oh, okay. But not
Okay.
all of us are Farmer Browns that do that with our tree, okay? But just don't be the person that puts out their tree on February and you're stuck with your tree in front of your house.
Let me ask you, fellas, over under 60%, did you buy most of your presents from like Amazon Prime?
Mine under, yeah.
Under?
I do avoid Amazon Prime.
Oh, wow,
Unless
okay.
it's like an emergency.
All right. What about you, Scott?
You mean based on money spent or per item?
Let's say like
Per item, no?
yeah, per item.
I would say I spent maybe 50% from Amazon.
All right, I'm a little higher than both of you
Based
guys.
on the amount of items. But certain things you can't get from Amazon. There are certain things you can't get, surprisingly.
It just popped up on
Yeah.
radar because I saw like the they had the articles of like Kohl's being shut down and a lot of these big box stores closing down. A
Kohl's
lot of
got
their
shut
branches.
down?
They're closing down a bunch of sites.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah, none in New York though. I looked at the list. None in New York.
I find that there are items that I would buy in a store, but they don't carry them. There's like I'll look up an item and there'll be 1,000 of it on Macy's. They're not going to carry all the amount of stock of items in the store. So basically, these department stores have turned into like the best of what they think.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a little 401 on buying at department stores, you have to basically go online to their website to check to see if they even have the item you want to look at.
The word department store just feels like so old,
Yeah.
right?
Well, department store means, just a refresher, department store means you go to a certain section that sells a specific type of product, like the electronic section or clothing, or how about this one? Dishwashers.
I bought some Amazon stuff, I think, for my niece and nephew. And I did get something there just because it was sold out where at the place where I was originally trying to purchase it. But yeah, I typically try to avoid Amazon, although I do all my grocery shopping on Amazon because they deliver like same day or next day.
I
But,
wouldn't call that avoiding Amazon if you do your grocery shopping from Amazon.
They have Whole Foods, so
Yeah. I'll order and then on the way home pick it up from Whole Foods and I'll put in my order through Prime. It makes it convenient. But I have been splitting it up between like ShopRite and like Whole Foods. But it's convenient. Do you do that on purpose? Do you try to avoid buying things just to keep, the mom
Yeah.
and pops and box stores alive?
Yeah, I try to do it on purpose. If I can go to directly to the retailer, I'll go to the retailer, or
But
I'll buy it on their site.
it's like Scott said. I was looking for something in particular. It was the Mario Party Jamboree, and I was looking for a while,
Sick.
and I had to keep checking Target's website to see when it was in stock, because every time I went there,
Wow.
I got bit twice, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep checking from now on. And it took like a couple weeks, and then I finally went over there instead of getting it on Amazon.
But
But
why
typically, I would just get it on Amazon.
did they have the product in Amazon? I mean, Target.
Yeah, they did. They
Yeah.
it was like the one by me was just kept. By the time I was getting out to go check, it was already sold out. They'd have like one or two in stock, and then it'd be gone.
What about KB Toys?
I don't even think I got one near me.
I think they went out of business 20 years ago.
Isn't that the same thing with Toys R Us?
KB Toys has been out of business ever since you stopped buying toys. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I
since
did
K-
buy
since
I-
KB filed the little Chapter 11.
I bought my Golden i64 at a KB Toys.
Damn,
Well,
that's a nice callback.
who doesn't forget
GoldenEye.
when you would go to KB Toys that they would have that little round table thing with the toys that wouldn't stop moving, and you
Oh,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
to go over to play with it, and
The wind-ups.
and you know that the person working at the cash register is like, please break the toy. This thing doesn't stop making noise, doesn't stop moving. They pay me to make these things move. Please just buy it and take it out of the store now.
Good to be back. Good to it's been I think last time we were talking about how slow TV and movies were for 2024 because of the COVID and the strikes and everything just getting delayed. But I feel like things are slowly kind of picking up. What have you guys been watching lately? What kind of caught your eye? Have you guys been to the movies at all? What's the deal?
Real quick before we jump in, I just want to say, DC. I just heard they announced like a pretty cool marketing thing. Instead of showing, I think, a Superman trailer at the Super Bowl, because they own, I think it's like whatever where they do the Puppy Bowl. Is it Discover?
Nah, they doing the Puppy Bowl trailers?
They're gonna do a trailer during the Puppy Bowl because of crypto.
Because
The dog.
The dog? Oh.
So they're gonna tie it in that way, which is pretty smart. Instead
How do
of
you
spending
watch the Puppy Bowl, Scott?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You can watch it on Discovery Plus. Or
there it is.
if you still subscribe to regular cable, you could watch it on loop, and again looped on Animal Planet.
What if you got that special app we don't talk about?
Yeah. Okay, so Animal Planet.
I don't know what app you're talking about.
And you said
also on Max.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Discovery Plus is part of Max, so you can watch it on Max. Okay.
Oh, you could watch it on Max live?
Actually, I don't know.
I don't know if it's live. I'm sure you can just press it because it's not the Puppy Bowl's not live. It's pre-recorded that they do it.
No, but I didn't know Max has like live, not live. You know what I mean.
You can watch
like broadcasting.
You watch it on demand. Well, Max has,
CNN, and they have sports that are live.
They have various. Right. They have Warner Media shows and movies.
Gotcha. Anyway, I thought that was super interesting that instead of spending $8 million or $7 million on a 30-second spot, they're gonna like probably
they got it for $35.
They're gonna take it over for some puppy chow a couple of times, and they're gonna take over the Puppy Bowl.
That's gonna be crazy. I want to see like what the numbers are for that.
I mean,
that like viewing segment of the
nowadays it don't matter. You don't even have to put it like on the Super Bowl. Release it the same day as the Super Bowl, and it's gonna pop on YouTube anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? The moment like social media gets the hang of it, and they're like, oh, it's released on YouTube, it's gonna get a ton of views.
It's gonna catch fire.
Lately, if you guys have noticed, the last couple of years, they've just been like letting out snippets, and they're like catch the rest of the trailer on YouTube or on our website.
Yeah, they've done some of that, like the long version.
So pretty smart way to go.
It's also a little cheaper. Why not do a 30-second commercial and say, go see the other 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Online. But by the way, if you want to see the Puppy Bowl from this past year, you can watch it right now on Max. The whole 2 hours and 8 minutes.
It's 2 hours.
2 hours
Oh
and
my
8 minutes
God.
of and not only that, it's celebrating 20 years of the puppiest matchups ever,
Damn, I didn't know they were gonna release that.
featuring 131 rescue pups. There you go.
I just got a dog this year too, so probably gonna watch Pug Bowl.
You gotta.
Well,
You could be a linebacker on the puppy
if
bowl.
you want to find a way to make the house really loud, put a dog in front of the puppy bowl.
There you go. See,
What kind of dog did you get?
an Australian healer. His name is Bluey because of the show.
He's a Australian healer. What type are those?
Those are the dogs from the show, the Australian healers. That's why they're called like Blue Healer.
Oh, okay. Oh, these are dope. I never seen the show, but I was literally every time I go out to dinner or something with a couple that has kids, they're like, "You guys got to watch Bluey. It's for everybody."
Yeah, I mean,
they got jokes for the
De-
adults too.
Define everybody. We need to.
I mean,
define,
it's basically like, when you go watch a Pixar movie, but they have like half the jokes are for the kids, but then there's the adult ones. It's
yes.
like that, but apparently on a deeper level. Even I don't know.
it does have some deep like storylines that kids probably miss out on, but the adults hit.
That's what I heard.
Like what's all right? Hold on. What's one storyline, Paul, that
All
you
right.
consider to be
I'll
really
tell you
deep?
this one
I don't want to be
kid-
brought to tears on the show.
that I was like, damn, I can't believe they just did that. So the mom has a sister, the aunt of the kids, and she is super attached, to the girls, but she hasn't seen them in a long time. And the reason is because she couldn't have kids. So when she would see the kids, it would like make her
God
very
is
upset.
laughing
And he's
at
laughing
this
at
scenario,
what-
which is
but
wild.
the way
Well, hold on. The reason hold on.
insane
The
is
hold
intense.
on. The reason why I'm laughing is because they don't. Let's be specific here. I don't know how much a dog knows about time passing. So how much time are we referring to of this dog in the show? Is it like 15 minutes, 5 years, like a
I
year?
don't even know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, like, you gotta like equate it to like human years. So let's say that she hasn't
Okay.
seen the girls in like 4 years.
Okay.
So, and they're like, well, mom, how come she doesn't come by? And she explains that she's like, sometimes the thing you want most in the world, well, she can't have it. And that's why it makes her sad when she sees you girls. And the kids didn't know what was going on, but you get the innuendo that, she just can't have kids. So it's hard seeing her sister and her nieces and stuff. But anyway, it was just like it hit hard, man. Like, especially when you realize, like, I thought they were like, bickering or there was like a back history of a fight. But then when she dropped that down, I was like, oh my gosh, that was kind of rough.
That's deep.
But anyway, it's got some like, it's a really good show. It's not hyped up like it is because it's bad. Trust me, it's a good show. But if I didn't have a kid, I probably wouldn't watch it.
I
I'm
might
just
watch
sitting
it.
there like,
Someone was like,
flu
the episodes
Saturday.
are only 8 minutes. So I was like, oh,
Yeah, they're real short, and they're coming out with a movie in 2027.
damn. Okay.
Are
I might
these-
check it out?
It's not like a full 21-minute show. It's only on, what is it, on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's just 8-minute segments, like real short and sweet, quick.
I thought
In and
this
out.
was an actual show that was on Disney Channel.
It is a show.
Don't knock it because it's 8 minutes long. Each
No,
episode, it's still a show.
no. I thought that it was an
Combination.
actual. No. I'm not knocking it. I'm saying that I thought it was an actual full show, not like a short story. I think that they probably cut them up to be on Disney Plus, but it
Nah.
was a full 20-minute show. At least I thought.
And that's the other thing that's impressive is that they tell these like short, concise stories in such a short time period, but it's so impactful. Like some of them are fluff, but a lot of them, a couple of them are like pretty deep. Not bad.
Okay. I might tune in next episode with a quick review.
I'd be curious. I'm curious to see how quickly they, these stories take a quick turn. Like, it's just like, why are you sad? Oh, because I can't have kids. Like, what? And they just like move on.
I mean, I'm not.
I think
doing
it's
it,
subtle. I
I'm being
assume it's
very
pretty
blunt.
subtle. I mean, the show, yeah. Like if you talk to any parent, this show is like,
Oh,
shiznit.
I've heard about it, definitely. But it's
Have
it's
you heard
actually-
about The Exorcist?
this is actually
Yo.
it's a movie. This Bluey, this show is actually produced by BBC, but it's on Disney. It's a British show. That's why they
Yeah.
all have British accents.
How do you
No,
know?
they're Australian.
Australian?
Yeah, they're Australian.
Oh, I thought. All right.
Australian
That's
healer,
right.
my guy.
I'm sorry. That's right. That's why
Well,
there
yo,
was.
stop trying to go
That's
around the
what.
subject.
No, that's why there was a local
about-
news story about parents being interviewed saying, "Why do my kids have an Australian accent?" That's because they watch the show.
So now to the meat and potatoes. You
What?
watch that Exorcist yet or no?
I've been too busy watching things that are less important.
You don't watch Bluey. You don't watch Exorcist. What's going on?
I don't have Disney Plus, so I can't watch Bluey. I'm not gonna watch. I have plenty of things to watch. I'm not gonna watch Disney Junior to watch Bluey. Sorry.
It's
There's
probably
an
on
app, there's an
YouTube.
app for that. Yeah.
I'm
Oh
sure it
yeah.
is.
They have tons on YouTube.
What have you been watching, Scott? Enlighten us.
What I've been watching, I actually found myself watching. It was coming up in my feed. I was watching the documentary series, and I think it's being too generous by calling it documentary series. Remember Cheer, which was from a number of years ago? That
No.
follows you don't. That follows this college cheer squad. Hold on.
Is it a documentary?
Yes, it's a documentary. And the reason why I was watching is because,
Tell us about it.
well, this is going to take a huge turn real quick. The show was on for one season, and there was this one, and I don't remember the names of all these to show how much I'm watching it. That there was this one male student that was like very loud, very, energetic, and they really featured him in the documentary. And then once it premiered, all these different cheaters became these stars and got a big social media following. And this one guy all of a sudden got investigated by the FBI because he apparently was now found guilty that he was asking, boys that are cheerleaders to send him pictures.
Okay.
And it went
That's
and
a
it
plot twist.
Oh yeah, but this was after the documentary premiered, so everyone was like a fan of the show, and then all of a sudden this came out, and then there was a season 2, which was about what the cheerleading squad was like after that. It's on Netflix, but I
Okay.
was kind of
I never heard of this.
Oh
I'm-
boy, you haven't heard of it?
I've never. No.
My goodness,
Is that good or?
no, because it was the cheerleading coach was on Dancing with the Stars, so this was a huge documentary.
Have you been following the show or the news around the show?
I never watched it. I followed I was hearing the entertainment news stories about it.
You like the gossip? Okay.
No, I didn't. No. I never was interested of seeing it, and then I sort of went. I don't know what. Then I saw it in my feed. I'm like, oh, it's there, and there was a second season, so I was curious to watch it.
What do you guys think about that Jerry Springer documentary that's coming out? I think on Netflix.
I don't know. I think that at one time Jerry Springer, or I don't know. He comes off as being. I think he played.
He passed
more of
away, right?
Yes, I think he played a character on the show, and he was he was mayor of. I think he was mayor of his town. He was.
Yeah,
He was a.
I think so. He was in politics. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was. He was.
What do you think about
He
the
was-
documentary coming out?
I haven't seen the trailer. But
Okay.
Is
Paul,
it,
have you seen it?
I think I saw it real quick. I mean, I think it's going to be another one of these Netflix docs jobs on this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good if you like the content. So if you're a Jerry Springer fan or intrigued by him, I think you're going to enjoy it. I like Vince McMahon, so I enjoyed the Vince McMahon doc.
That was excellent.
Diving into that was pretty cool. I like a lot of these sports, docs that they do. So I think if you're into it, you'll enjoy it. You know what I mean? Not like if you're like on the fence about it, I don't think Netflix does like amazing docs though.
Well, I think the Vince McMahon documentary, you were going into it because I'm sure quite a few people got into it because they wanted to hate him. You know, and
No, I
No, I
actually,
don't think so.
I didn't hear about like all this other stuff going on. Like I don't follow wrestling hardcore, but I always used to love like Vince McMahon and Stone Cold back in the day when I used to watch with my pops and like their shenanigans. So I always thought Vince was like, wow, he put himself down for his product. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't one of these bosses that like couldn't be touched. He was made like an idiot to look like an idiot on these things
Mhm.
with Stone Cold. And like I was always fascinated that he was willing to do that. So I went in there because I kind of like Vince. And then I found out some of the stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. But I went in with that mindset and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the Vince McMahon is also a look at a man's life, his entire life, pretty much. And the Springer Show is just like, hey, remember that noisy show from the 90s? We're going to sort of go revisit that. And I think it's a little bit, I think a documentary on the Springer Show has already been done, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it's just touching into that 90s nostalgia, just like with the Menendez brothers documentary, the was that serial killer show that was really famous too, the guy from the 90s. So I think it's just really just hitting on that generation that grew up watching that stuff. I think, Paul, to your point, Netflix documentaries are hit or miss. You
Like
know,
that UFO one we watched, that was I don't think that was good at all.
that was not good. That was not good.
When you're saying Netflix documentaries, I don't see. It really depends on whether or not this was produced by if this was produced for Netflix or Netflix acquired the licensing to put it on Netflix. There's a lot of not all documentaries are made for the distributor, because I know that I watched this really great documentary. It was about, I think I mentioned it before, about Gene Wilder, and that event that was produced like 5 or 6 years ago. I think it eventually either found its way on Max or it found its way on Netflix, but it wasn't made specifically for
Yeah, I
the
think what
streamer.
happens is they usually, someone comes up with the idea, they start moving forward with the project, they get investors and producers to come along to the project, and then they pitch it to these companies to try to sell it to Netflix or Max or whoever. But I feel like, yeah, some documentaries like the McMahon one, yes, they negotiated with Netflix for a deal, but Netflix was not involved in that production.
Oh, really? Netflix wasn't a part of the McMahon one?
No, I don't think so. I think that was an independent production, and then they partnered with Netflix as their distributor. But I think, and the McMahon documentary, whoever produced that, kept authorship, right? Netflix was not, I think, involved in the creative process. Where I think something like the alien abduction one, Netflix may have, because that's a smaller project, Netflix may jump in and be like, here's how we sort of get this to be perfect for the algorithm or for the viewership or for whatever. So
Gotcha.
each one might be a different case, but the reason I call this like a Netflix doc is because it has that same look that the Alien one did, and a few others have. But I didn't look at like who produced it or how it got to Netflix. I don't think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned the algorithm. Did you guys hear about this craziness where Netflix is going to try to produce more vocally descriptive shows so people to target those people who put on shows in the background while they're doing something, because those people find that it's more entertaining when they could, visualize something mentally instead of looking at it because they're doing something else while they're watching.
So they do that already on some shows. I actually turned that setting on by accident, and it describes every audio thing that's happening.
No.
Like,
This is like
That's audio described. That's for those
that's
who
different.
Those are that audio describes been around for a long time. It's for visually impaired, so that they could know what's going on screen because they can't
I
see
was
it.
like, why am I getting all this information?
No, this is actual like visual cues in the script,
Mm.
so you
Okay,
know
what's
what's
an
going
example?
on.
Like the
Oh, I
man
don't
opened
know.
the red door.
Yeah,
I'm
like
gonna open that red door over there.
yeah, just like highly descriptive of like what's going on.
Interesting.
But they were saying that cues to the algorithm of people who put on shows in the background and are doing something, but they like to visualize it mentally, hearing the dialogue or the script of the show, kind of know
Mm,
what's going on without having watched it. That's insane. That's
that is insane.
insane that our society now can't even like I don't man, that's nuts.
I,
That's just bad.
then you should just listen to a book on CD because when you read a book and you hear
What's
a
a
book,
CD, my bot?
Did, did you get hit up on your beeper that the local CD came out?
what's a CD? Hold on.
And you call them back on the
This
rotary
is
phone?
this is a CD, okay? This is actually these are DVDs, but this is a CD.
Do you have a Sharpie? You gotta write Dune Part 1 on one and Dune Part 2 on the other.
Are you?
This is the retro episode. We're talking about GoldenEye,
Are you?
CDs, beepers.
Yeah, I do have a Sharpie. I do have a Sharpie. Anything else? I'm like,
I
what
thought
is
you had one of those like fancy ink pens.
I'm like Carrot Head with all the different prompts.
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top, thank you.
Oh man.
Carrot.
That's how much of a fan I am. I don't even remember his name.
Oh shoot.
There's another documentary. Where's Carrot Top? Right? Where is he now?
Is that real?
Netflix, start working
My
on it
evil
now.
twin Carrot Head.
Where, come on, let's get working here. Netflix, where's this documentary? Get the props going.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I'm glad I peed before I came on, man.
Here's an
I
audio
have some
description.
big following
Both
right now.
Bruno and Paul are both laughing uncontrollably. Paul's grabbing a big, huge box of tissues,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bruno can't find his tissues because he's using his fist.
Oh boy. That was a good one. I have a segue.
You do, Ari. This can go anywhere. Go ahead.
No, Carrot Top was featured on an episode of Hacks that I watched recently, and he was hilarious in the 2 minutes that he was in there.
I heard him on Rogan recently talking about it might have been like a past clip from a while ago, but he was talking about when he got huge. Remember when Carrot Top was like
he became
huge?
super muscular.
Yeah, and he was just like it didn't work out for his sets. Like it was just so awkward because he was so big that it was deterring from like people enjoying his set because it just looked so awkward.
Yeah, he looked freakish.
Yeah,
His
And it-
face changed too. I remember that.
The Carrot Top, not Carrot Head, Carrot Top documentary is called The Wizard of Odd.
oh, all right.
It premiered at the Doc NYC.
Okay, I might wait. It's a cartoon.
It is?
No, that's what came up when I googled it. I don't know. It's a lot of things actually. Fantasy books. Okay,
Oh, it's a series. All right, maybe that doesn't. Hold on. It was speaking of AI. It was an AI pop up from Google. So it's not right. It's wrong. It was AI's wrong. It's as it says, generative AI is experimental, and it's going to stay that way from the time being until it gets it right.
should we get to some content?
Wait,
Just a
hold on.
little bit.
Hold on. This is not content. What have we been doing for the past 20, 30 minutes?
Paul, I know you watch some stuff.
I just actually I was gonna ask you guys a quick question. If you saw, I just saw season 2. I can't even think, man. I'm still thinking about Carrot.
Wait, do you need to say pass or you got this?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I finished Creatures Commandos. Thought that was pretty good. No other episode to me though topped GI Robot, but otherwise it was pretty good. GI Robot was like top notch. Saw season 2 of Squid Games. Thought that was pretty good, but it was like a bridge season because season 1 had a pretty good finale, and they already announced season 3. So it felt like
Mhm.
season 2 was kind of like a build up and then cliffhanger. Um, I did see Den of Thieves 2 in the theaters. Den of Thieves 1 was like a really nice surprise. I hate people calling it like Heat Light. I think Heat was totally something, different. It was a heist movie, but Den of Thieves, Gerard Butler, man, he's just,
Is he good?
yeah, he gives it. Did you guys ever see Den of Thieves, like the first one?
No, I remember the poster now. 50 Cent is in it.
It was actually pretty good. It was a really nice surprise. It was a cool heist movie. Gerard Butler is one of those actors that just like he was in 300. He was in a couple other things, and he's always pretty good. Recently, I saw him before this was Greenland when like the asteroid's going to hit Earth.
Oh,
You
I
know,
didn't see that. That sounds
yeah,
fun.
that was another good one. I love those like disaster movies. But Den of Thieves 2 was good. I'm glad they didn't like take the cheesy route like a Fast and Furious and just like exponentially escalate it. They um
Mm.
they took this one, it was like a little more international, but the shots they did were pretty beautiful and you actually felt the scale. It felt like you were like going to different countries and expanded out more. Um and then on video on demand, I saw Nora
Oh,
and
so Honora is. I've wanted to see that with Mickey Madison.
it's basically Cinderella with a prostitute, but it doesn't end off so
Okay.
well. It doesn't have the happy ending. It's
Oh,
just
that's
like,
unfortunate. Okay,
yeah. But I mean, it was good. I mean,
it's worth watching. It looks like both funny and the characters, the cast, everybody looks really interesting, and the story looks
you know
looks
what?
great.
It was okay. It was like a cool ride, but I just didn't think the end paid off. Um,
Okay.
it just like it felt like the ending was kind of flat. But it was interesting. A lot of nudity. Be careful like what company you're watching it in. It is. She's basically a prostitute. She's like a not a prostitute. Well, kind
Like
of,
a
yeah.
showgirl kind of, or
Yeah, who does a little bit on the side. So you're
gotcha.
definitely going to see nudity, but it was okay.
Okay.
And one we didn't talk about that I know you saw was Carry On.
Here,
Yeah,
yeah, I saw that.
I saw
And
that too.
I think I had said in the chat, to me, it was basically like a remake of Die Hard without saying it was a remake. I
It
felt
leaned
very,
in, yeah.
yeah, like it was good. And it's one of their top viewed movies on Netflix.
Yeah, I read that too. I thought what's his name? The lead, Taron
Yeah, not Edgar.
Taron Egerton.
Yeah, Egerton.
Yeah. He
He
was
was
great, I thought.
he was the lead guy in those movies, like the fake Jane Bond movies.
Yeah,
Gentleman?
the
No, not Gentleman.
no, the
Oh,
Kingsman.
Kingsman. There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was really good in that.
Yeah. I don't ever buy Jason Bateman in anything, other than like maybe some kind of comedy. I have a hard time. And he was like, yeah, I didn't love him as the villain here.
Wait,
Keep
Jason Statham or Jason Bateman? You said.
Jason
Bateman.
Bateman.
Oh, Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
I like it. I like his shtick. He's like, yeah, but you're right. I didn't buy him as
He's
like,
not like a serious villain the way
no.
this guy is supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Cold, calculated. But I like the premise. It reminded me of the movie Speed. Also, it's like you're on the clock, you're on the phone with the villain. He's giving you orders. But yeah, I guess I liked it. I'm on Rotten Tomatoes here, and it's at 88% fresh, but the fan score is 52. Which is pretty good.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I think it deserved much higher than that. It was entertaining. It was good. Jason, I
Smart.
can't. It's like you said, Jason Bateman. I can't look at him and not think Arrested Development. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
He's always got that shtick. I can't. I don't see him as threatening. It's just like the other
Yeah.
the other one I
He's
was
not
gonna
a
ask you
tough
guys
guy.
to do is the
Hold
Beast.
on, hold up. I want to get Scott's take on Carry On. I know he watched it too.
Wow. I guess the moment of truth. What did I think? I
You have the floor.
Did I like it or did I really not like it? I thought it was okay. There was some.
Underwhelming.
It wasn't that it was underwhelming. It kept my attention. It just felt like they would spend so much about this section of the movie, and then, building up that he's working as a TSA officer, but now there's like this, I'm not going to go into too specific into the storyline, but there was a conflict. But how is he going to be able to turn this around? And it just completely made like a U-turn. It's like, oh, he's the hero, and like, okay, where'd that come from? The world was coming to an end, and somehow he solved it in 5 minutes. But it was
It was a 2.5 hour movie, I think, actually.
No,
I,
no.
I
Maybe I watched the very edited cut, but no, it wasn't that long.
it's also like a very simple premise, right? It's like you're a security guy, and if you let this one package go, the movie's over.
It
So
felt like
it just creates this dilemma, like, I'm not going to let it go because, my dad was a cop. I let him down or whatever, and I want to be a cop, and I want
No,
to do
but
the right thing.
that was a twist. He did let it go. It went through,
yes.
and then it was like kind of like chasing it after the fact. That made
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like entertaining too.
There was one scene that really irked me. Apparently, they had a sniper in a van, and apparently, like, he can just hit anybody in the airport at any point. It doesn't matter where they are, even though he's in the parking garage.
It wasn't the things that went on. It wasn't believable. Was not completely believable.
And I'm not
Yeah,
a fan of that actor. I've seen him in a lot of different things, and I'm just not. I
the
don't know. I don't
sniper.
like his style. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird looking guy. Yeah, he's an
He
odd
was just
one.
in Penguin. He was supposed to be like,
Oh, he was the psychiatrist.
yeah. People were like hinting that he might be the Scarecrow. I don't know. I don't like his style for some reason.
What did you guys think of the car scene with the FBI person and then the undercover terrorist who, like, there's a very tense scene where she discovers that he's a terrorist, that he killed the agent that he's pretending to be, and he points a gun at her, or vice versa. She points a gun at him, but he's like, if I crash, we both die. And then
Oh yeah.
she tries to shoot him, and it's like this insane CGI. It just looks so unreal because it was just all CGI, and the camera was like all over the place. That I just remember that really taking me out of the movie, but I guess it was impressive. I don't know.
There was a lot of unbelievable situations, like everything tied up in a nice bow at the end. That scene where she happened to live, the guy happened to die. It was just like a lot of like
Oh yeah.
convenient things, like that's what I was gonna say. Den of Thieves too. They escalated it, but not to a point where it was unbelievable. Like there was a scene where they had to kind of like not zip line, but like rope climb down an elevator shaft. Going down that's fine, right? But then going up, these are like overweight guys. Ice Cube's son's in it.
Hmm.
And
I
these are
saw
like
that.
overweight guys trying to and you see them struggling to get back up. And like it was really cool because they had a timed descent, because the way it worked out, there was like 117 closed circuit cameras, but in the security room there was only 10 monitors. So it had
Wow.
to cycle through all of them with no recording because it's not allowed because of Privacy Act.
Oh,
So
interesting.
once it cycled through, you had like whatever it was, like 60 seconds before the camera cycled back on the 10 screens. But to see these guys struggling to get back the elevator shaft just made it super believable. Like you watch these movies and you're like, no way that guy climbed up the side of that building. Like, no way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and everything felt really believable. Like I like the story. And it was just it didn't take that cheesy route of like these guys now are all like middle-aged superheroes somehow.
Yeah. Okay, I may check it out, but I'll probably wait until it's on Max or
I,
streaming
I would
somewhere.
definitely recommend, if you guys get a chance, Den of Thieves 1. It was a really surprise, pleasurable heist film. I liked it a lot. It was really good.
Scott, you were going to bring up something?
Yes, a development to a previous story that we spoke about at length. I don't know if Paul was on with us when we talked about this, but it was previously announced that Disney, ESPN, Fox Corporation, and the Warner Brothers Discovery parent company of CNN also were going to do a combined venture to have the biggest sports broadcasters together, to have all these sports to create their own partnership streaming service. It may be a surprise that it was announced last week that what was then eventually called Venue Sports, the joint streaming service, the decision was made collectively by Warner Brothers, Fox, and Disney, effective immediately, to no longer proceed with this partnership. They discontinued it before the launch.
All
Now,
right, hold on. Yeah.
now
Let me just sort of break that down. So these three companies, Disney, who owns a bunch of sports through ESPN and ABC, Fox, who owns a bunch of sports, and what was the third one? Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, Fox, and Disney, which is ESPN.
Yeah, so they were going to basically combine to create one streaming service, was like the ultimate sports app. And they're basically, by doing this, going to shun a lot of other companies out, like Fubo, Sling, all these other. Those guys sued them, so and they kind of blocked the deal, which is good or bad, I don't know. And then Disney partnered with Fubo TV anyway, so then those guys, and now it's like creating other problems for other networks that carry sports.
Well, they not only didn't Fubo did not only partner. Disney is acquiring approximately 70% of Fubo. So that was announced before. Then later on, it was then announced that Venue Sports was no longer going to be a thing. So
yeah,
it's with who, because what's going to be is that Disney's Hulu Live TV is now going to be part of Fubo, but both are going to be available separately. But it's going to pretty much create this behemoth subscription service, because Hulu TV Plus is going to acquire all of the licensing deals from all of the existing carriers that would have been part of this Venue Sports deal. So they're going to have Warner Brothers, cable channels, the Fox cable channels within Hulu Live, TV Live, which they don't necessarily have all those currently. So they don't need to have a separate partnership anymore because they'll have their channels.
Okay, so Hulu's is going to have all the sports now for the most part.
They're going to be part of what Fubo has. They're going to combine it together, but they're going to be separate. They're going to have separate subscriptions, but it just happened to be that the litigation between Fubo and Disney was considered settled.
Yeah, it's not going to be cheap. I don't know. They got to announce like what exactly they're gonna show on those, because I think people just care about like what NFL is doing, and that's on Amazon. That's a little bit on Netflix. That all the big streamers are trying to get some of those games, and then a couple NBA games. But yeah, sports has always been kind of messy, and now the big streamers are trying to purchase those rights. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how this new sports package is going to roll out.
It feels like we're heading down the road of mass consolidation with these streamers.
Well, we're going from being cord cutters to now uncutting the cord, but streaming everything that we were watching with the cable box about 5 or 6 years ago, if not 10 years ago, and going back.
It's like cable TV was the big bang, man. It all expanded out, and now it's all contracting right back again.
Yeah,
like
just more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, good update. I wasn't gonna. I was curious about what Venue was gonna look like, but I probably wasn't gonna be a subscriber.
Well, you know what? Now it's no longer a venue, and it will never be a venue to watch sports.
I want to shout out real quick the Pitt on Max. Do you guys know what the show is?
The Pitt, never heard of it.
Scott?
The Pitt on Max? That's a drama. Well, it's a
drama. Don't read me the Google description. I'm just asking you if you heard of that as a human being.
Hold on. Hold on. Come on.
Well, that's a drama.
Hold on. It's like you should see behind Bruno. I think he's upset because there's a humongous snowstorm going on behind him. He's like, I'm going to have to plow all that snow. No. It's I believe I've seen it's a show on Max.
Yes. So it's basically I heard that it was pitched as a sequel to ER, but then the Michael Crichton, who I guess wrote the original book or series, He didn't he didn't want to do it, so they created it anyway, and it's like a spiritual sequel to ER. It's pretty good. It's pretty bloody. I'd say the cool part of the show is that every episode is 1 hour of the shift. So obviously it takes place in an emergency room and dealing with all those patients and all the chaos that is involved in that. But so the first episode is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift. Second is 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift. So the entire first season is going to be a 15-hour shift, culminating in 15 episodes. It's really good, really fast paced. You follow the main character, who played by Noah Weil, Dr. Roddy or Robbie something. Still getting to know the characters, and then there's like obviously a bunch of cast around him, who I think are all pretty interesting, but it takes a while to get used to the show that it's just gonna be resolved at the end of the day, where like a normal series you can see like a problem being created and then days or weeks or whatever down the road seeing it resolved. But to think about these kind of issues being solved within 2 to 5 hours is sort of something that you have to adapt to. I'd say something cool that they do is like the first episode is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So you have a lot of emergencies that might happen typically in that time. So for example, a mother burns her hand making breakfast for the kids or something, and she's like, can I get out of here in time to bring my kids to school? Or you have an accident that happened overnight because somebody got drunk at a bar and now they're bringing them in. Or you have a commuter that was injured and fell off the train tracks. So they tie these specific injuries to the time of day, and it makes you consider like, okay, at 11 o'clock, what are people doing that might that might cause them to come into the emergency room? So I think that's pretty smart. Visually, there's nothing super interesting about the show unless you're into like blood and just seeing a lot of messed up stuff. But it's really good, and I definitely recommend it.
I can only do like these medical shows if it's like a comedy, like Scrubs.
Love Scrubs.
They just came out with St. Dennis, which is kind of like The Office in a hospital in the ER room.
I saw the pilot. Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
Right? Yeah, it was pretty good.
But I can't do these. Sometimes that stuff with the hospital is like either too gory or too heavy, man. Like, you know, cancer or a little kid or something like that. And it's like without that comedy to like break up that it's heavy, man. It's heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah. So this one doesn't deal with like the human drama so much. It does. It doesn't deal with the drama like between like this doctor is dating that doctor and they have chemistry and it's awkward and it's romantic. It doesn't deal with any of that. It just focuses on the patients and like the trauma that comes with that. And also like the individual families or individuals that go into the OR or the ER rather. And yeah, it's tough. Like there's one, like the two parents bring in a little kid who's I think 4 years old and he's sleeping. He doesn't wake up. They don't know what the fuck's wrong with him. And the doctors are asking him questions to try to sort of navigate their process. And they ultimately find out that the kid ate some marijuana gummies that the brother-in-law had left in the house or whatever. And then, yeah, there's the fallout of the parents themselves clashing in the ER. And then the doctor's like, well, look, we're here to save the kid, but you guys got to take the beef outside. So there's like some family stuff like that and some drama.
So it's like 24, except in a hospital, like an ER?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right.
So for I thought it was Noah Weil was in ER originally. He was in the original series.
That's what I heard. Yeah. He looks super
quite some
familiar.
time. So that's why there was sort of a suspicious part of this is that this was, I believe this was made without sign off because you said that the creator of ER did not want to do a sequel. So this was kind of
right.
You know,
yeah,
a backdoor kind of feel to it because it stars Noah Weil in it.
Exactly. So it's kind of a backdoor thing. I think they apparently got sued as well.
I think that's true. That's correct.
I don't think that's gonna stop the show.
Well, it's on Max, so They're not going to take it down. I don't think
They're not going to take it down.
No.
Yeah,
Did you finish The Agency? Did you end up liking that?
it's not over yet.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I think I have like 3 episodes left, and I do love it. I love it. It's
I was going to
fantastic.
check it out, but I just wanted to see how you felt. Like I thought the finale hit already, and if it landed the finale.
That's a good question. One episode just dropped on Friday. I haven't watched yet, and then I think there's 2 more after that. But the drama is certainly, tensing up, and our characters or the main character is certainly getting squeezed. So it's good. It's very good. I think you can watch the first 2 episodes free on Amazon, and I think they're on Hulu as well.
It's a series that's on Paramount Plus with Showtime.
Yes.
The Agency.
Because I did check out the Dexter First Blood or Blood whatever after
New
we
Blood?
talked about it. New Blood. No, not New Blood. Isn't it like? Oh no, Original Sin.
Original Sin, yeah.
The new one they just made, and as cheesy as I thought, like an SNL skit, the trailer looked, it ended up being pretty all right. That guy's
Yeah.
mannerisms are pretty amazing. He hits them.
That's what I was saying.
You were right, man. Like he hits it pretty spot on. In the beginning, when he's got the long hair, it's off-putting.
Yes.
So you can't see that. But in the intro, when he kind of gives that nod and wink to the camera, and then later on, you definitely start seeing those mannerisms come through.
When
It's
he's
very
like,
well done.
when he's in the office at work and speaking with other police officers and stuff.
Let me correct myself. I think I saw part of episode 2 because that's when he's talking to Masuka, and it was that line of questioning and stuff like that, and like his mannerisms at that desk. I was just like, I got deja vu with Dexter. So he did a really good job in doing that.
Yeah, that will continue to come out. The season gets better. I don't want you to come back here like, hey, I watched 3 more episodes and they suck, but I think they get better.
Either I'm a Dexter fan, so either way, I think the way this season's lining up, it's like, because the first episode starts with him being rushed to the hospital and he's on the hospital bed, so he survives whatever the other one, and I think it's probably going to be like him looking back on his life, and the culmination of this season is probably going to be him escaping the hospital.
You mean like his present self?
Yeah, I think it's going to flash back to his present self, like
yeah.
his deja vu, his flashback ends, and
that's actually a good point because the show opens with him. We haven't gone back. I've watched. I think I'm only 1 episode behind. I think they come out Fridays too, and we haven't they haven't shot back to him yet. So
no, because then they're going to do Dexter Resurrection this year. So
I know, but I thought they'd go back to that hospital scene, just be like, he's surviving or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they might just pop it at the end. That's it.
Yeah, they're going to have to sort of go back to that. Scott, any interest in watching Dexter? The teenage years?
No, I never watched the original, so I wouldn't want to watch just as bloody stuff.
You should watch. You can watch Dexter season 1 by itself, and you will feel complete. You need no more. I'm telling you.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I've been good all this time. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't know.
If you want to see lots of bits and pieces, keep watching the show. There's all kinds of bits and pieces of people and everything.
Oh, no doubt. I am not, having any. I'm very sure that's what I'll see.
I think Scott that he's not a very like a guy into gore and like horror. Like
I don't know what makes you think that. That when we talked about horror movies, I was only but excited to watch various movies of that genre.
I still want your Exorcist review because I know you're going to have an interesting perspective on that. So we'll sign off shortly. I just want to. I can't recommend Hacks enough. I hadn't realized that like Gene Smart won an Emmy for every year that show's been on, and they win constantly for all different kinds of writing and directing in those episodes. I watched season 1 and 2 when they came out. Season 3 I slept on for some reason, and after Gene Smart and the team, they won again, like best comedy series at the Golden Globes. I went back and binged season 3. It's phenomenal. I was in tears in a couple of scenes.
That girl from Always Sunny is in it.
Yeah, she's the daughter.
You know, they just made an appearance on Abbott Elementary. The whole cast.
I saw there was like a crossover.
We never talked about Abbott, right? Abbott's such a good show too.
I don't know. It is, but I stopped watching it.
Really?
Yeah.
What about you? About Abbott? You don't like Abbott?
I watched one episode. It's not my kind of humor. Sorry.
Oh, I liked it. It was pretty good. But they had the whole cast of Sunny in Philadelphia, Always Sunny, on. They had like a crossover.
Yeah, because it's 2 Philly shows, right?
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
Hacks. Yeah, look at this.
Anything else before we sign off?
Oh, you know what I just recently saw? The first time I saw it, I thought it was so boring. I fell asleep like quarter way through it, and I just rewatched it again. Mad Max Fury Road, because I watched.
That movie's a 10 out of 10.
You know what? I just thought I wasn't into it, and then like I watched Furiosa.
Don't let Pedro hear you say that, bro.
Yeah,
he'll drop that baby if we can come over here.
I watched Furiosa, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. And people say you could watch it like Fury Road directly after, and it's a pretty solid continuation.
It's a sequel, yeah.
Fury Road is like beautifully shot, man.
It's phenomenal.
Well, amazing scenes. Like I just didn't give it its due. You know, I just chalked it up as something like the mass likes, and I just didn't. And watching it again, I was really impressed. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I remember I saw that again recently. I went back and watched all the all the Mad Max movies from the 80s.
Damn.
And then I rewatched that one as well. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Does this one, Fury Road, is that like the origin of Mad Max? Or is
no. The origin of Mad Max is part 1.
Okay.
I think it's like 1979. It's like an Australian low budget film.
Yeah, that I remember with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
But where does this take place in that timeline, Fury Road?
This takes place much later. There's no like specific year or anything, because it's all like it's all the wasteland. But Mad Max is in that one, and like there's like one shot where Mad Max is like looking over the desert. So there's like a visual reference to Mad Max, but he's not in the film. In the second one, in what's the more recent one, Furiosa, I think he is in it. He's the one that sort of. Oh no, that's not him. I'm not sure, but the movie is titled Mad Max, but not every movie is about Mad Max. Only the first 3.
I know they did one of them where like Tina Turner was in it. I know that.
Yeah, that was part 3. Part 2 is really good. One is tough to watch because it's a very low budget, just like Australian movie. It did really well, so then Hollywood picked up the second one and gave them all that money to do it, as well as the third one, George Miller. So the second one's good. Fury Road is just a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised. I was pleased. Did you ever watch those, Scott?
No.
Damn, Scott, you're missing out on some quality entertainment.
You know why? There's too much sand. It's too dirty.
You should watch Fury Road. Just from like a creative standpoint, everything in that movie is original. Extremely original. From the war boys to the women and their purpose in this little weird society, to the different sort of clans, to the value of like oil and protecting gasoline. The cinematography and the characters are insane. The battles with the cars that they build and how they fight each other. I mean, everything's crazy.
But the thing is that where do they get the gas?
Australia.
I know, but it's like
Gasland was like an oil refinery that was still
endlessly driving around.
Yeah, all they have is gas. Whoever controls the gas controls everything. So that's what the movie's around.
I don't know.
The last thing I was going to ask you guys was, on my point of view, was Beast Games. If you guys got a chance to check it out, Mr. Beast.
Beast Games.
Like-
Oh, Beast of Beast thing. No, I haven't.
You either, Scott? I'm assuming you didn't know.
That's on. That's on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't venture off to Amazon Prime Video.
Really?
No, oh
Not
my
at all?
God, it got a 13%
No.
on Rotten Tomato. Good lord.
No, I don't normally.
13%?
Yes.
Really? Wow. Damn. I wonder why. It's not bad. It's entertaining. It's sadistic, but it's entertaining.
Wow.
Damn, 13%? That's crazy.
Is it like a Squid Games kind of show?
Yeah, it's like his challenge videos, but he just like strings them together. And it's like
Okay.
a $5 million prize. And now they're kind of doing this offshoot where whoever's still left, like it starts out with like whatever, let's say 500 people, or I forgot how much it was, 200 people. Whoever's left now had an option, and they were going to take 10 people if they volunteered to play for the island, like an offshoot
Oh.
of the 5 million. Like, okay, if you want to just not compete for the island, you go chill on a boat, and then we'll continue on the $5 million challenge after we're done with the island challenge. But the island challenge was like a $1.8 million island, so 10 people volunteered. But if you lose the island challenge, you're out for the whole thing. You can't
Hold
go
on.
back for the 5 million. You're done.
Hold on. There's too many rules. Too many rules. It's a there's a prize.
The main prize is the 5 million.
Okay, the 5 million or 5 billion.
5 million. 5 million.
Okay, all right. So I want to make sure. But all right, just make that be the prize.
But he's trying to entice you to risk your chance at
No,
5
no,
million.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
No enticing. Let's not.
So do you want to
That'd be boring
spin?
as hell.
No.
Do you want to take the prize or do you want to spin?
Yeah, you're not
What do you
gambling,
say?
man.
No. The challenge is you gotta rate. Look, I'm more of like, let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they have to get all these questions right. That's the surprise of the thrill of seeing if they get every question.
Scott, you got to watch the show. I want your opinion now. I need
come on.
Scott's take on this
Gonna
Beast
fall on
Games.
that list right behind
What?
Exorcist.
Come on. What about Deal or No Deal Island? That's back season 2 on NBC.
You watch that? You watch that?
Is that a thing? Deal or No Deal Island?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. And it was like
Oh my
garbage.
God.
And you're poo-pooing on the Beast Game? And you watch Deal Island, No Deal?
Hold on.
Is Carrot Head on it? That's why?
Hold on. Who?
Carrot Head? Is he on it?
I don't know who that is. But anyway, you just have to watch the first episode of Deal or No Deal Island, and that will keep you watching, because there's like, everyone thinks that they all have their own little characters. And like, I'm so and so, and I'm this, and I'm gonna cream this, and I'm gonna do that. Everyone has a little storyline.
But that's how this is. That's why it's like entertaining, because this guy was like, I'm never gonna sell out. I'm never gonna sell out. Once that offer got to like 100 grand,
but it's not
he
even
sold his whole line out.
But it's not even about that. It's about on this show. It's about
It's about
them
being on
struggling.
NBC.
They're struggling. They're
Oh.
What? No, it has nothing to do with being on NBC. It's just they're struggling and they're trying so hard. They don't just give up and get an offer. They go, yeah, I'll take it. It's the struggle to reach the point of failure, and they come up with this storyline. Oh yeah, I tried my best.
This one I like because it messes with people's psychology. You have a whole bunch of group of people working with you. Now, are you willing to screw them over and be the bad guy to walk away with like 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand? Mr. Beast pits people against each other, which makes that kind of like interesting. You know what I mean? Like this guy was like, I'm the team captain. You know, I'm not going to let my team down. Well, when 100 grand hit the table,
I know.
You start thinking differently. You know,
I automatically go into and go, yeah, that person's going to be the first person.
Yeah.
That's going to be like, I already could figure out the storyline. That person that's doing all the talking is going to be the one that's going to be not talking anymore when he gets that big little offer, that enticing offer.
To me, it's got a little bit of Survivor vibe. So that's why I thought you might like it.
Oh no, Survivor vibe is when Jeff Probst doesn't shut up and he wants everyone to talk for 20 freaking minutes, and then all of a sudden it gets to that 7 minutes left in the episode. He goes, all right, it's time to vote.
Probst is the man.
Can I make a quick recommendation? The Physical 100 on Netflix. It's like a Korean competition show. Puts like peak athletes against each other in these crazy physical challenges, and basically until there's only one survivor at the end. It's phenomenal. The Physical 100. It's really good.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you mentioned that before. Yes, I've
Yeah.
watched a little bit of it.
It's great. And it has like so much heart. That's why I love the show. I feel like people are like just paying like mad respect to their opponents nonstop. It's like I don't know. I guess culturally it's very different from Western culture, but it's really good. And I wanted to mention something else, but I forgot. So
There's always next time.
Oh
there's
wait,
always next time.
we didn't even touch base on the fires.
Is there time, Scott? Is there anything that people haven't read 100 times on Twitter on the news already or do you have a take on it?
Well, I think the not only is there a horrific impact by those that live in the Los Angeles area, but also quite a bit of people also work in the television and film industry, and there's plenty of movies and films and TV shows that were in production that have had to halt because of focus has to be on their families and not on work. So a lot of these shows that are done there, live shows or pre-tape shows, have delayed their tapings at least a week uh past what they would follow the following week, but it seems like it's going to be quite a long time where it's going to become difficult to say when is it appropriate to be doing these shows and be positive, because Jimmy Kimmel has been hiatus since last week and other shows as well. I think I saw that the Jeopardy was also not going to be producing shows this week, but a lot of these shows also, uh, some more than others, do their shows further in advance. But a show like Grey's Anatomy, which also has paused, doesn't do their episodes so far in advance. So it's going to eventually catch up. And just like in the writer's strike, not to compare it, they're going to get behind, and the networks are going to have to do some strategy adjustments to maybe take things from streaming services and put it in its place while they have to have these shows catch up.
Okay. The Oscars nominations were also delayed. Probably a bunch of other award shows as well. They're thinking about canceling the Oscars, but I think that's just a little silly.
I heard some scumbag stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about this about State Farm. That they were canceling policies before the fire hit.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, I don't think that's like recent news. I think they have been operating at a loss or like under the threat of a loss in the state for a while, so they decided to cut. Not during the walk. I don't know. I don't want to get into like what may or may not have happened.
Well, this is just the beginning of what is going to transpire, as far as, because right now they're still at this point of trying to contain the fire, which is most important than trying to create entertainment and TV shows and movies for people for their for their own gain. Most important is that they get the fire contained and be able to
right now it's contained though, right?
I don't think so.
Still not?
No,
not yet.
I thought they had officially said it was contained.
I have a friend who lives just outside Eaton. She has a fire just like north of her. I should check in, but as of Friday, she wasn't like evacuating or anything, but her report is that like the air quality is horrible. Like people are just staying home with their air filters blasting. Some of the supermarkets are open and you can get like all of your basic needs. But as of today, I heard on the news that the high winds were still sort of keeping the fires very much alive, and firefighters were still struggling to contain them.
The night that we're doing this, they're the same issues that they had the week before on winds. They're basically right back in the situation that they were last week, with the winds blowing the fires beyond that they can control. So even if they get the fires contained, and even at the point when they get the fires 100% under control, when there's no fires, you still have a huge area. From what I read, that the area where the fire is larger than in New York City.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that's the area that you got to compare that, but it's not as dense of people. But these are neighborhoods, homes, and towns which are basically gone. That's very difficult to have to rebuild, no matter what you have. There's going to be a big challenge of saying, do I want to rebuild? Do I want to move on? What that is, because things that there's houses that are worth $1 million. There's houses worth 500,000. There's houses worth 5 million. No matter how much money someone has, they still have their belongings that they'll never get back again.
Yeah, and I think about that a lot. Like, they could be multimillionaires, and you're still like, well, they're gonna get a new house. They could just buy new stuff. But man, I think about like artwork that my daughter made and like family pictures and stuff that we have in the house that you would just have to get up and leave, and you lose all that. And then it's like, I couldn't imagine coming back from that. I would probably live like a very, very like minimalistic kind of life after that. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be scared to own anything again.
Yeah, I'm sure it has like a profound effect on you for forever.
Yeah, jeez.
Hopefully, LA bounces back. I'm sure they will. It's a great city. They have the Olympic Games in 4 years, I want to say. So there's going to be a lot of preparation for that, and I'm sure it's a bit of like, at that point, hopefully a celebration of LA.
They had to move the playoff game to Arizona, I think it was.
Yeah, they moved a bunch of stuff.
Well,
We'll see.
The Olympics starts July 14th, opening ceremony in 2028.
And they might be hosting. I thought they were hosting World Cup games too.
They probably are.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Are they hosting the Puppy Bowl?
Damn.
Wow, if that was not a transition, I don't know what was. Wow.
I gotta change the mood back.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'll let you finish it from here. Go ahead. I need a moment to get over that. Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for checking in. We'll be back maybe next week or the following week. And yeah, see you then. Peace.
Peace.